America is broken. America's divided. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has pushed our country into a crisis. Peggy Noonan said it this way in the Wall Street Journal. I think it's very profound and thoughtful. She said, part of the reason why this moment is so scary is we know we can't stop it. We can't continue, and we don't know what to do about it. Lower the temperature. Don't be so quick to judge. These things aren't working. There are 330 million of us, and it's hard to hold us together even in the best of times. Crisis creates opportunity, and I think hope. This moment could be the catalyst we need for America to finally address the root causes of our division and our brokenness. Hello, America, and welcome to the latest episode of what I'm now calling Shrink DC, Save America. I'm your host, Patrick Trepanier, and I'm the author of the book American Restraint, Taming Hyper-Individualism and Hyper-Capitalism. So we're changing our focus on this show. This recent crisis is a wake-up call for everyone in the country, I think. The question really isn't what to do about America. The question is really how we fix America. We know it needs to be fixed. So last week we talked about 90 million Americans don't vote. Why they don't vote? They don't vote because they don't trust DC. DC cannot fix itself. They won't fix itself. And that's one of the reasons why we need to shrink DC in order to fix America. So what's the solution? The solution is state-level innovation. We need states willing to innovate and experiment with policies that restrain hyper-individualism and hyper-capitalism. I call these restraint formula states, states that prioritize family, community, health, and service over unrestrained individualism, greed, and materialism. Washington cannot and will not address these fundamental problems. That's why we need to shrink DC in order to save America. You see, states can lead the way by building pro-family and pro-community cultures, rethinking economics to put families first, and protect the vulnerable through service. But one of the important things when I say the restraint formula state or a restraint formula state is this does not apply to all 50 states. I think the national government, I know the national government can't fix all of our state and local problems. It's shown that it can't and it won't. That's why we need to leverage the power of states. Every state's going to be a little bit different, and that's federalism. Federalism means choice. So when I say a restraint formula state, I have a set of policies that we're going to go through here in just a minute that I think could work to restrain hyper-individualism and hyper-capitalism. But the national temperature is too high, and Washington, D.C. can't reduce it. We need to reduce the pressure in Washington, D.C. by allowing states to innovate and experiment. If California wants to embrace hyper-individualism and hyper-capitalism, that's their choice. If Utah wants to reduce hyper-individualism and hyper-capitalism, the exact opposite of California's choice, that should be their prerogative as well. If South Carolina wants to take a mixed approach, right? If they want to restrain hyper-individualism, but they're okay with hyper-capitalism, that's their choice as well. Today, I'm going to present 10 specific recommendations for a restraint formula state. And again, I just want to make it super clear. This is not my recommendation for each of the 50 states. The first recommendation absolutely is for the national government, though. So here it is. The 10 recommendations for any state to become a restraint formula state. It's kind of a legislative template for healing our divided country and shrinking DC. The first recommendation is the most important one because I think it sets everything else up. Call for a convention of states to add 3 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Number 1, term limits for Congress. Number 2, balanced budget amendment. And number 3, reduce the scope and jurisdiction of the federal government. This is basically the 10th Amendment, nothing new here. The second thing that we need to do is morality and ethics can reinvigorate a restraint formula state. Just a couple examples here. Reduce the availability of drugs and alcohol in communities, and establish a daily moment of reflection in public schools. Number 3, consumerism needs to be de-emphasized in a restraint formula state. A couple of options here. Number 1, reduce consumer debt options. They're out of control. Number 2, promote minimalism as an alternative to consumerism. So here's the fourth idea. Entertainment should build up, not tear apart culture. Incorporate community values into the entertainment industry. Like Jimmy Kimmel. Do you think that really reflects community values? I don't think so. Ban pornography. Definitely not community values. Number 5, put families and communities in control of technology in a restraint formula state. Make social media companies liable for what they post on their sites. Mark Zuckerberg has billions. He can afford a few editors. Also, enforce antitrust for the monopolistic technology companies. They need to be broken up, pure and simple. Social media is a cancer on our society. It's time to fix it. Number 6, expand the middle class to put family and community first. Address the cost of living crisis for the middle class, especially housing. The cost of housing is out of control. We're going to actually devote an episode to that in the next couple of weeks. Also, reducing outsourcing, immigration, and insourcing. It affects middle-class jobs and middle-class wages, and it needs to be addressed. Number 7, constrain big business to put family and community first. Focus on local economies, not global economies. Reduce executive power and concentration of big business control. Number 8, restrain Wall Street to put Main Street first. Eliminate exotic financial instruments to de-risk the economy. This is things like credit default swaps and derivatives. It's just gambling. Get rid of it. Eliminate payday lending stores to protect poor communities from predatory lending. Number 9, build up poor communities through service. Members of poor communities can pretty much avoid poverty through greater personal responsibility. But I also believe middle and upper classes need to reach out and help pull the poor into the middle class, and they can do this through service. And number 10, address the root causes of crime through service. Hold men accountable to ensure safer communities and more stable families, and rethink public education in lower income communities to provide alternatives to college that just aren't working in these communities. So what's the path forward? These 10 recommendations, which I talk a lot more about in my book, American Restraint, they represent more than policy proposals. They're a roadmap for states ready to lead America back from our current crisis. The Charlie Kirk assassination shows where our current path leads. We can choose division and violence to continue what we're living in right now, or we can choose the hard work of rebuilding our communities. Washington won't save us. They can't save us. They have no interest. Wall Street won't save us. I mean, come on, that's a joke, right? Silicon Valley won't save us. But states committed to putting families and communities first can show America a different way forward. This crisis threatens to continue to tear apart our country and our social fabric. But instead, this could be the moment to heal. Only if we have the courage to shrink DC and empower states to save America. That's all. Have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.